So, what is a roll boost in Rayman 2? Back in 2016, I uploaded this video to YouTube, where I noticed that in Rayman 2 for PC, you get a slight speed boost when Rayman jumps out of the water and then rolls on the ground. This small speed boost unfortunately only lasts for a second. However, the next day I discovered that you could retain this little speed boost as long as you jump before the boost ends. The use for the speed boost, however, seemed quite limited. There's not too many swimming areas in the game, and by having to jump to store the boost, you slow down in the process, seemingly negating the speed boost. So I dropped the investigation, thinking it was just one of the many weird useless quirks that this game has. But, as it turns out, this quirk isn't as useless as we thought it was. It is now over 5 years later, November of 2021. In the meantime, we had learned a lot more about the game, mostly thanks to the Rayman project, which allows us to view the game's models, animations, collision maps and scripts. With this new knowledge, I decided to take another look at this strange phenomenon. And then I discovered something interesting. The boost was apparently not limited to jumping out of the water. It could be triggered in other places as well. In fact, it can be triggered in almost every location of the game, as long as you have solid ground to walk on. And so, roll boosting was born. So, in what ways can you trigger a roll boost? There's actually a lot of different ways in which you can start a roll boost, the most obvious one being jumping out of the water. The most common way to start one, however, is simply from standstill. The easiest way to do this is by holding strafe, then hold forward, and as soon as Rayman starts walking, jump and release strafe. To make it easier to see if I have a roll boost, I'm using a mod that spawns red particles whenever the roll boost status is active. You can find a link to the mod in the video description. Once you have started a roll boost, you can extend it by jumping during the rolling animation. This mod can also show you how well you time your jumps. You want to jump as late as possible, but before frame 59 of the rolling animation, after which you will lose your roll boost. An important thing is that your speed will only be increased while you are on the ground, not in the air, even if the roll boost status is still active while in air. There is a few things that will cancel your roll boost, for example, shooting during the roll animation, landing on the ground while hovering, or basically any movement on the ground where you're not in the rolling animation. Sliding can also cancel your roll boost. But then, there's also a lot of things that can activate your roll boost, like sliding but on a flat surface, holding strafe while hanging from vines, spawning when you have a golden fist, walking with a plum, orb or barrel, turning while flying with a barrel. You can even activate the roll boost by just lightly tapping forward while standing still. There's even weird cases where you can keep roll boost active in between loading screens for some reason. For example, holding the up arrow during the transition between Fairyglade 3 and Fairyglade 4 will activate roll boost at the start of the map. We are not sure why this happens yet, but hey, it's cool. But how fast is it? Well, that depends on a lot of factors. But first, the numbers. Rayman's maximum walking speed on a flat surface is roughly 9.9 units per second. When roll boosting, Rayman's speed on a flat surface is 12.45 units per second. First of all, there's the factor of how often you jump. Jumping more often means more airtime, which slows you down to roughly 7.9 units per second. If you jump too late, however, your roll boost will be lost. You will want to do small jumps exactly at the end of your roll to reduce your airtime and keep your roll boost as long as possible. Here's the comparison of me doing roll boost with jumps, me doing roll boost with hovers, and simply walking the same distance. As you might notice, on a flat plane like this, roll boosting appears hardly any faster than walking. However, roll boosting gets more interesting when you're going up a hill, or in situations where Rayman needs to jump anyway. When going up a steep hill, regular walking can be actually slower than jumping, so in those cases, there is no penalty when jumping to extend the roll boost. When going downhill, however, roll boosting actually reduces your speed. Make sure not to roll boost when you are going down a slope. If you want to look more into the numbers, I have attached a few graphs to the video description. An important limitation of roll boosting is that you cannot use it when the game blocks Rayman from doing his rolling animation. For example, on any dynamic platform like the bridges and precipice or on floating barrels, Rayman won't roll. There are also zones in the game that are marked explicitly to have no rolling animation, like these lily pads. Also, directly after using a purple lum, Rayman will usually not play the rolling animation. If you, however, shoot directly after releasing the purple lum, Rayman will perform the roll animation. Finally, here's a little comparison, showing the difference that roll boosting can make in the Woods of Light. Hopefully after this video, you have learned a bit about roll boosting in Rayman 2. If you would like to learn more about Rayman speedrunning, be sure to join the Rayman speedrunning Discord, where we share glitches, routes and strategies with each other. There is an invite link to the Discord in the description of the video. Thanks for watching.